Welcome to the first ever Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. We are here at the California training facility where 16 up-and-coming skate athletes are going to throw down right here in a brand new competition hosted by Hot Wheels. These athletes are young, they're talented, and they are fierce, but they aren't quite old enough to compete at Nitro World Games yet. So we've designed a competition to see who is the best in the upcoming fields. And today we're going to showcase that in Skate Street as well as Skate Park. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jimmy Coleman, sitting alongside the one and only Corbin Harris. Corbin, we get to start this off here with Skate Street here today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it today. This is the next generation of skating. And obviously, they can't be in these big competitions, but we're about to see what's going to come through, and it's exciting.
Well, it's sort of the building blocks, if you will, for what's to come down the line. And that's awesome because a lot of these kids, they come out here, I mean, obviously they're well-versed in amateur competitions, but to do this with the cameras rolling and to get out here with some pro athletes that mentor these guys, this is a whole different ball game for these kids.
Yeah, this is a chance for these athletes to really step it up and move into that area where their idols are, like your Nigel Houstons, your Shane O'Neills. Like, they now have cameras on them and they can be in that sort of an area.
And not only that with the cameras, but it's also, I saw yesterday when they were talking to Alfonso Rawls and Bucky Lasek, it's a strategy thing. It's how do you plan your runs? It's getting out there. How do you figure out what you're going to do in the span of that 30 seconds? What are the judges looking for? And some of the things I saw those guys talking to the kids about yesterday was jam session. It's not about one best run. Get out there and its overall impression during this jam session. Don't peak early. Make sure that you skate well throughout the entire competition.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I think that's one of the most important things about it as we take a look at the start list now is having those mentors and guide you, telling them not to go for those certain tricks over and over again. But yeah, here we are.
So we've got talent all across the board there. Roman Hager, Christian Jordan, Felipe Mota, Dylan Jabe, Zion S., Costin Eaton, Logan Kershank, and Wyatt Skeen. So 8 skaters in the mix out here. Take a look at our judges right there. You've got Bucky Lasek on the left. You've got Alfonso Rawls on the right. Alfonso was actually the mentor yesterday when they had the practice session with what we call the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Academy. And then right there in the middle, you have the man who is the steward of this entire facility. That is Brian Harper. This place right here, he designed this. This was his baby that he came up with. And you've got this world-class training facility right here in Vista, California.
Oh, it's so good, this place. Obviously, you've got the park. We're on the street right now. To have a place like this, if I was young, to have somewhere like this and have mentors and be able to grow through this facility, you know, moving on to the Olympics and competitions like this that are down the line, you can't beat it at all.
So taking a look at some highlights from yesterday in the mentoring session.
Look at that huge kickflip down that set. I mean, these kids are doing tricks that are in, you know, the big contests around the world.
I couldn't believe it yesterday, just watching some of the rail tricks from some of these kids. I was like, are you kidding me?
And they're half the size of me, and that's really small.
I was like, this is the junior games, and you get kids that are doing front feebles down these long kink rails and everything else. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And you know, over the years, too, the problem with watching these younger contests has been the kids haven't developed their styles. All of these kids are developed and have proper styles already.
So this is how it works. We have 8 skaters in the field out here today. It's a 30-second, we'll call it an intro run. It's your time to showcase yourself to the judges as well as the crowd out here. We have a lot of parents on hand. And then after everybody goes, they'll go in order of the start list, and then we start the clock. It's a 20-minute jam session, and basically, as we said before, it's about the overall impression. If you have 1 or 2 good runs, that's not going to be enough. The judges want to see that you have the tenacity to outlast a 20-minute session clock and have a good time. They want to see all of your talents. And I, for one, I'm a huge proponent of the jam session format. I like that a lot better than just getting 2 runs and trying to get it done in those 2 runs.
I was just about to say that, Jimmy. I could not think of a better format as we get straight into it right now with a blunt shove to start things off.
So this is Roman Hager out of Chandler, Arizona, 14 years young. Oh my goodness, a blunt to kickflip out.
How much pop was in that?
That's the 2nd trick that he's done. Come on, this is the intro run.
What? Backside nose blunt, taking it all the way around to fakie. This is a solid run to start things off, setting the standard so high.
Hello, everyone. My name's Roman, and I have lip tricks on lock. Nice to meet you. That is a heck of a way to start off the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games.
Great selection of tricks as well.
And he said, that's all I need for my intro run. Wow, Roman Hager just opened this with a heater of a run right there.
His fellow skaters giving him high fives everywhere on the platform, and no wonder why. Look at that. Catching it with his back foot. He popped out probably 2 foot.
Yeah, he was so far away from the lip, and right here, backside 180 nose blunt to 180 out, all the way around.
Yeah, incredible
Wow.
trick.
So that is Christian Jordan you're taking a look at right here from Pasadena, California. So about a 2-hour drive to the north, 11 years old. He's on course for 30 seconds here. Starts it off with a frontside 50-50 down that rail.
I've been watching this kid on social media for the last probably 12 months, and he skates everything, and he is super consistent. I mean, he's on teams with like Volcom, with, you know, Milton Martinez and Dustin Dolan. It's got to enhance your skating when you're skating with guys like that.
Wow, backside disaster to revert out, so he's putting together a solid run. There's the buzzer right there. So Roman Hager and Christian Jordan both in the books with a full 30 seconds to get things started. That is pretty impressive to start this competition.
It was a super impressive run, staying on the whole time. That's what you really want to do with these first introductory runs, is stay on, make sure the judges know who you are. And yeah, with 50-50s like that, holding it down, little backside
I was
boneless.
gonna say, taking it back to the 80s right there.
He definitely wasn't born in the 80s, I'll tell you that right now.
He wasn't even born in the 90s. In 2008.
There you go.
June 28th, 2008.
We're not getting any younger, Jimmy.
No, we are not. That's why you end up in the booth at some point.
Thanks for that.
No, hey, listen. I wound up in a booth a long time ago, sir. Somebody realized that my talking talents outweighed my skateboarding talents, which is why I've been here.
This kid right here, Felipe, one of the best skaters, up-and-coming skaters that I've seen, because
my
of
goodness.
tricks like that.
He nailed that like a pro.
Yeah, he's not far off it, let me tell you. I can see this kid skating the next few years against skaters like Niger.
Do you see how casual he was in that front blunt slide?
Unbelievable as we hear the buzzer in the background. Big spin, front board, effortless style.
Did you see how he just skated away from that? That was just a cakewalk for Felipe Mota from Brazil. The style, the stance that he has in between each one of his tricks. Watch this.
Heel flip, frontside board slide down the big rail.
Oh, I didn't even realize that at real-time speed.
Just clocking up the points and ending on that one right there, the big spin, frontside board slide.
But just look at the confidence that he has in between each one of the tricks and how he skated away from that on the big spin front board at the end. Wow. So again, no scores, no individual run scores here. Again, it's about overall impression. We are 3 skaters deep here with 5 to go in the intro portion of things, and then we start that 20-minute jam session clock. We have a skater from Hawaii coming up next, 15 years old. This is Dylan Jab.
Our oldest competitor in the field at 15.
That just sounds wrong. The oldest competitor in the field at 15.
He's a big 15-year-old with huge tricks. Hard flip
into the wedge.
Yeah.
So here at the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games, these athletes are all age 16 and younger.
Just before that kickflip frontside board slide was a shifty kickflip up. Loving the style on it.
So far to get this party started, all of our intro runs thus far have been solid runs. No one stepped off the board yet. We haven't had a fall, haven't had a step off yet.
Yeah, it's exciting to know that we've still got 20-minute jam format to go.
Well, once we get through this part with the intro portion of it all, I'm curious to see how this evolves. Because I almost feel like this is a little bit of pressure for these kids.
There's that hard flip into the wedge, kickflip frontside board slide, perfectly executed. Same goes with the frontside flip at the end.
I would not want to be a judge right now. Those guys definitely have their work cut out for them. That is Zion Epps out of Miami, Florida, 10 years old. This is our youngest competitor in the field.
up with the kickflip, up the little Euro style gap into a backside 50-50. Little reset there into a feeble. 360 flip
Wow,
in.
that's the manual down the wedge.
He was holding on to that for dear life.
That was a heck of a save right there, but you know what? He claimed it. There's the buzzer after that 50-50 on the hubba ledge there, or on the ledge, so the trend continues. Everyone's making full runs here.
Being the youngest competitor, he's got to have a little nerves out there. He's got to be feeling it. I think we saw it a little bit, but you know, the good thing about this jam format is it's going to open up to all of these kids, and they're going to be able to go for it.
That's what I think. I think after we get through this intro run portion of things, I think everyone's going to loosen up a little bit. I mean, I'm impressed. They're holding their own right now. So here you go, Costin Eaton.
We know this name.
We do.
We know this
Two
name.
older brothers, Jagger and Jet, who are very, very accomplished skateboarders. So the youngest of the Eaton clan on course here.
And you could see it with that front blunt. It's exactly the same as Jagger's.
It's in the lineage.
Jagger, you know, he's out there holding it down for the USA, heading into the Olympics as well.
Backside nose grind right there.
Looks like this kid right now, Costin, is going to follow in his footsteps.
Obviously, the consistency runs in the family blood right there, so stepping off there. That was after the buzzer, though, so.
I wish I had a bit of consistency. Unbelievable run to start things off, and
so
I'm excited to see him in
we've
the
gone
jam.
through 6 out of 8, and our first 6 have all had complete runs.
Yeah. That's what you get when you have a beautiful training facility like this one. And you can get here every day after school.
This is a concrete playground. I mean, this place is absolutely insane. Just taking another look at Costin's run here.
Backside disaster, backside revert, crooked grind there. Hustling right at the end, trying to get as many tricks in as possible.
So we've got Logan Kershak and then Wyatt Skeens, and then we start that 20-minute jam session clock, and we are off to the races. Here at the first ever Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. Kickflip up to get the party started here for Logan Kershak out of Manhattan Beach, California.
Frontside feeble seems to be the trick with the kids that they absolutely love, and they can all do it.
Everyone in this field has sent a frontside feeble. It's like, all right.
Backside 50-50 down the
He's
harbor.
got some super loose trucks, man.
He does. Picked up on that as well.
You can see those things wobbling when he picks up that board. Is he trying to revert out of that front Smith?
I think he was. Kind of came back on his back foot. A little too much weight on that back foot as well. Unfortunately coming off. I'm sure we're going to see that trick in the jam format coming up.
These guys have their work cut out for them. Maybe between Bucky and Alfonso and Brian. Like, I mean, there's been so much good skating.
Look at the camaraderie with these kids too. Like, obviously they've been hanging out. Alfonso, living street legend, been mentoring them the last couple of days. It must be pretty cool.
Just to see the look on their faces, and I mean the conversations that were being had out there yesterday on the street course, it was awesome. This was Wyatt Skeens, 13 years old, so this is our last skater in here as far as the intro run portion of things is concerned. A little slider.
A little speed check there, going in.
I like the style.
Kickflip. Holding a lot of speed up to the other end. 50-50, locking it back in there. Ollie up.
Frontside 50-50 on the ledge, and the buzzer is about to sound here as we are about to. Is he going to get time for one more? No, there is the horn, and he says, "You know what? I'm happy with what I just did right there." And look at it. In a normal contest, like everyone's just kind of scattered to their corner where they want to start from when they're looking up. And like these guys are all huddled together. They're all talking. They're having a good time. Take a look at the style there on the front side ollie.
50-50, holding onto it strong.
What I heard yesterday in the athlete meeting, they want to see all of your talents, what you have to offer.
Smooth Smith grind down the big rail there into the backside boneless.
He's 2 for 2 on the backside bonuses out here today. What a heel flip coming up that way.
It was. This is where you're going to see these guys really open up and show all of their tricks.
So there you go. You got a heel flip, you got a kick flip. Oh, the backside boneless reverts. Wow.
Fakey flip up.
Wow. So he took his intro run and just put the cherry on top of all of that and said, I've got a few more toppings. So oh my goodness. Felipe Mota has just crazy style. Like, watch what he does when he comes off of those rails and out of his tricks, and just the confidence that he has as he skates in between each one of the obstacles.
Backside Smith grind. Blunt slide down.
I mean, that's...
Oh,
what just happened there with his front foot?
I think he was trying to do something else, and he ended up just going for a safety trick.
Oh, what?
Something that wasn't a safety trick there. Big spin board slide, and then a little body varial at the end.
Yeah. Holy smokes, that was a heck of a run right there. That's only his second run.
Huge frontside flip down the big set of stairs from Dylan. Now, amazing style that he's got. Frontside blunt. Really strong style, locks his tricks in, knows where he's going from.
Well, he wasn't happy with that run by the facial expression and that reaction. So that makes me wonder, what else has he got in the trick selection bag right there after that? I mean, just did a front blunt slide, sir. I'd be thrilled.
Little kick flip up. Feeble over. Resetting again on this.
I like Zion's style, and he gets after it. Like, the amount of time, he wastes no time once he gets to one side of the course and getting reset to come back the other way. He's after it. He's hurried.
Yeah, hopefully we see that board slide down the kick rail. Oh, going for a frontside nose grind. Going probably for about maybe like 6-7 foot there.
I was going to say, that's Jagger style all the way right there.
It is.
It's surreal to watch.
I mean, that's how I started skateboarding. My brother had a Lance Mountain skateboard when I was 6 years old, and I jumped on that thing, and I thought it was the best thing I've ever done. Yeah, you get taught off the family. Backside lip slide.
He followed up.
Now,
I think overcorked that backside disaster. I thought he was maybe going to revert that one in, but
this is redemption. Looked a little sketchier on his first introductory run, but now opened up. This is something that I feel these kids are really going to come to the party.
We were talking about this earlier. I love the jam session format. Oh, that was some Neil Blender type stuff going on right there. The bean plant disaster.
Neil Blender. One of my favorite skateboarders.
I did not think we were going to get a chance to throw a Neil Blender reference into this, but there you go. It's happened. It's real now.
Just wait until we get to park.
Listen, if somebody does a woolly mammoth or a good buddy in that park competition, that's it. I'm going to have to retire.
You're throwing in the towel?
That's it. I'm out.
All right, we're in. Big ollie down the set. Resetting again on the quarter pipe. Up the Euro gap, little backside ollie, little late turn on that.
It's kind of late shifty slide.
Lofty kickflip, catched it real high as well. Big spin, frontside board slide.
I feel like I'm watching a pro contest right now with some of the things that we're seeing.
It's that exciting. I feel like as we get to the end of this 20-minute jam format, they're going to be throwing down on the big section as well. Maybe just trying to clock up a lot of points, show Afonso, show Bucky, show Brian, these judges, what they can do. Because they've obviously been mentoring them the last couple of days and saying, hey, just don't go for the big tricks. Let's use the whole course.
Oh, a big 360 ollie to flat down the stair set.
I feel like there wasn't even much pop on that. He just spat.
He just wound that thing up and sent it.
Backside 50-50, a couple of big pushes, getting reset.
You know, going back to what we were talking about. Oh, that would have been huge.
Frontside feeble attempt on that.
Come on.
I felt like...
Come on.
Felt like his foot was in position when he did the 50-50 ready for it, and well, someone's whose foot was in position was Felipe every single time. There's that frontside feeble. Lofty frontside ollie, kind of like
very
his body.
Jimmy Wilkins-esque right there on that frontside ollie. Oh, the kickflip back tail. Down the,
straight into
Felipe Mota has been perfection in this contest. He has not stepped off once, I don't think. Oh, there it is again. And as I say that, he steps off at the end of that, but
there's a couple of tricks I've seen. Obviously, you saw them yesterday. I've seen them today. But these guys can just do them. Kickflip, backside, tail slide, every single go he's been doing it. That's a go-to trick now.
The consistency that I saw yesterday in practice was mind-blowing.
Setting up, coming in, switch, kickflip. I want to see that. First big switch trick we've seen, Jimmy down that big set.
So going back to the earlier conversation about the whole strategy in this jam session thing, like to come out here and do this in this type of facility and opportunity with the cameras rolling and everything else, and like an actual proper pro style contest where you've got a starter and you're being held and you have to wait to go and all that. I think after the intro portion, obviously nobody really had the nerves or the jitters in that opening part, but once you get going, you get into that groove with the jam session and you start to warm up a little bit. At that point, I think all of this just kind of fades away and you're just having a session with your friends.
I think
so.
And
we're going to see some of the best skating as we get to the latter portion of this time clock.
Absolutely. The only time that I think you'll see immaturity is it when they get maybe stuck on a trick right at the end.
Nope, no one's really had that problem yet.
I know. They've been listening to their mentors.
I mean, they were glued to Alfonso yesterday. I mean, it was surreal to watch. And then, like I was saying earlier, I mean, it was cool to watch Bucky out there on the street course. And they were having a blast. They were playing at a trick on the flat. They were having a great time out there.
Yeah, I chatted to Bucky. What? If that isn't an Eaton trick, I don't know what is.
Wow. And I'm jealous now because the backside Smith stall/grind has eluded me for decades, and he just popped into one and then reverted out of it.
Yeah, he made it look so easy.
Apparently I need to go to Arizona to go skate with these guys.
Arizona, so many good skate parks.
They have that massive facility out there and that Kids That Rip program.
Logan in the mix right now. His second, this is his third run, but his second run was mind-blowing. He stayed on everything.
Step up back three. Sneezes that one around.
Little Wyatt dropping back in with the board slide. Super solid on the landing of that. Big 50-50. Up the Euro, just trying to clock as many points up as possible and get around and use as many obstacles.
Oh,
there we
front
go.
Side boneless.
Maybe he got that from Bucky. Because I've seen that on Bucky's social media recently. He's been doing it switch as well.
Let's try and boneless variations on the next transition there. I was just going to, you took it right out of my mouth. I was like, was he going to do a switch boneless then? Some of that Bucky influence right there. Hey, you know what'd be cool? Throw everybody a curveball. Do a boneless, then do a switch boneless.
Oh, the late shove. Wow.
What?
Yeah, they are starting to get warmed up now.
Yeah. Just do a no-complied tail slide.
Amazing style.
I mean, he floated that. It was absolutely effortless. There's the buzzer right there on the front side feeble.
Little 1 foot ollie to end things off.
Hey, you know what? After time, I don't care. I'm going to throw this into the mix. It's like you think you've seen everything in one skater's bag of tricks, and they come out and they throw something else in the mix, and you're like, oh, yeah, you've been sitting on that one for a little while.
One of the most exciting runs I think we've seen so far. Really stepped it up. I didn't see that coming.
Felipe Mota, though, has just been on point this entire competition. But I think now, like, we're into the heart of this. Everyone's sufficiently warmed up, and now they're in the groove, and everybody's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I feel like if Felipe holds what he's done so far for the rest of the contest, he might be able to take this out, but he's going to have to stay strong because, you know, there you go, jumping off it. But everyone's on his heels right now.
Just a little too much on the flip there, and he ends up catching the side of the board. That's a step off, but
effortless style landing on that. It's like he's been doing it for 20 years.
It's a recovery trick after a fall, after step off.
He hasn't been doing it for 20 years because he's 13 years old.
I was going to say, the math doesn't add up. But again, his style, his confidence that he has, his presence on course.
Jimmy, that's the difference, I think, what we've seen in the last sort of like 10 years of kids skating is, I feel like when we were growing up and going through this, a lot of kids would sort of sit back and watch and just get to the skate park and really have to sort of like work their way in. These kids walk in and just start trying the tricks that they were doing at another skate park, and the level goes up and up. The confidence is just through the roof.
It's crazy, because you would go to a session and you kind of like, you had to find your place in that session. You had to, you know, sort of assert yourself, because it's a giant snake session and everyone's just out there doing their thing. And, you know, when you're rising through the ranks and you're an up-and-comer, like, you have to find your place and just sort of find your groove, if you will. And yeah, like you were saying, like, a lot of guys will tend to sit back and just kind of watch, and these kids come out and just the confidence that they have. But that's why I like this format and only having 8 skaters, because it's awesome. It's the perfect amount. You've got this world-class facility to use. You've got pro skaters out here that are helping mentor you and talk to you just about like trick selection and how to put together a run and how to maximize your time out there. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah. A little different to muscling me off a ramp when I was 13 years old in Melbourne or Sydney.
I was going to say, going back to the old NSA amateur vert competition days here in the U.S., it was like, oh, okay, here you go, sign your waiver, go nuts.
Frontside board slide there. Costin, Eaton, such a smooth style. Only backside 180 into that little wedge there. Switch, frontside blunt. Coming down on that.
Watch out, the lid comes off right there.
He looks like he's fine though.
Costin, tighten that helmet strap, sir.
Backside Smith grind, pointing that out with so much style. Loving Logan's style in this. Frontside 180 up the Euro gap. A quick couple of little pushes in there to try and keep things going. Smith grind on the quarter pipe. What's he got?
Oh my goodness, down the stair set.
Flack around tricks. We're doing it all.
Yeah. I am extremely impressed with how these guys are all putting their runs together out here in this jam session.
Set slide all the way up, styling out on that.
He keeps getting up into those 50-50s, and that back truck goes a little bit further than he wants it to, and then he just kind of kicks it back in.
It's also with that size quarter pipe, it's really hard to lock into it because it's a little mellower, but in saying that, it's also great for flip tricks, and you've seen guys do blunt kickflip in. It makes it a little easier and a little softer landing.
It makes it
not
look
real soft, but a little softer.
It makes it look too easy, though. I mean, all of these guys have been throwing stuff down on that quarter pipe with relative ease.
Oh, just coming off that frontside flip there. Oh.
Did you see where his back truck went just perfectly under the coping out of that?
I think he maybe even locked up,
just
or his
clipped
wheels
a bit?
Went onto the coping.
But he skated right out of that like it was nothing.
Got the shirt tucked in, maybe a little Dylan Reader flavor in the mix there, I can see, especially from trick selection, so I like that. Definitely points on my scale.
Kick flip up, the step up there. Backside disaster on the quarter pipe.
unfortunately, that big spin frontside board slide coming off.
That was absolutely huge right there for Felipe Mota with that back lip down the rail.
Under the 5-minute mark right now. Oh, there he does. He gets it this time. I think this is where we're going to see the money moves go down, Jimmy.
I wonder how many of these guys have actually skated with a follow cam guy before. Like that's got to be a little bit surreal for some of them out there as well. Like, all right, I'm skating, but I've got this guy right behind me on my heels on a board.
Yeah, it is a little different, especially with a bigger camera like that. They've probably definitely had their friends with a phone.
Like with the GoPro and the phone, but like having like the full high-res HD camera like hot on your heels when you're coming down the rails.
Yeah, it'd be tough if it's a new experience for you. Frontside feeble, so effortless and stylish on that.
At the rate that we're going here, the front feebles on the rails is almost a filler trick at this point from what we've seen of this whole group. Oh my goodness.
He is going for it now, and this is it. We're only a couple of minutes away. Frontside heel flip up the Euro gap.
How did he get his back foot on that?
That's what we're talking about earlier with Bucky Lasek and Afonso. The kids these days doing their 360 flips, it's all back foot. It's all back foot. They're pushing it around. You watch Najee, you watch Shane, you watch any of these top high-level street skaters. They're just doing it with their back foot. Their front foot just stays there. It's a hovering on top of their board.
See where his front foot was on that feeble?
Oh, nearly making it through that flat section there of the kinked rail. Unfortunately not getting it.
So we're under 2 minutes. 2 minutes left to go in our jam session here for the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Skate Street Edition. 8 up-and-coming skaters not old enough to compete in the Nitro World Games getting their chance to showcase their talents out here at the CATF California Training Facility.
Costin Eaton is schooling everyone right now.
He's putting together a heater at the end here. Look at the hurried pace he's got going on too.
Oh, throwing down everything in these last couple of minutes.
He's just shaking that one off. He's gonna sit down and like, all right, I'm gonna have a sip of tea. I'm gonna think this one over. I'm good. I'll be back. You have to hurry up there, Costin. Time is running out, so time to squeeze one more in here. Under 1 minute.
Holding on just to that frontside board slide. Backside tail kind of came down too far on that. It was swinging to fakie. He was trying to get it back to come in normal. Had no problems with that kickflip up the Euro gap.
Frontside Smith coming down the rail.
Unfortunately not getting that late shove.
It's like, you know what? Here you go. I'm going to do some flat ground tricks after that. Take that. I didn't hear that buzzer. You know what? I didn't make the late shove it down the stair set, but I'm going to do some flat ground tricks. I'm going to maximize my time.
Wyatt switching things up there. Normally coming in forwards on that board slide, trying to come in fakie. Gets that 50-50 this time. No problem at all. The back heel holding onto it just with that kick flip. Unfortunately, not being able to hold on to that one.
I mean, he's been at it this entire jam session. He's taken a lot of runs.
At this point, too, I mean, you've had an introductory run. You've nearly been going for 20 whole minutes. It's got to take a lot out of you.
They're at that age. They could have done this for 8 hours. We could have had an 8-hour jam session, and everybody be fine.
Oh, hard flip, landing on the bolts and just kind of sliding. What a contest we have on our hands there.
Listen, those guys have their work cut out for them right there. You see, Harper, you know, he's usually a head judge at a lot of events that we do all across the globe, but he's out. I mean, he's a note taker. I've seen this process before. So right now, we're going to take a look at some highlights here of how this all went down here at Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Skate Street Edition. Well, this was an epic competition, Corbin, and it was a hard-fought battle out here, but I've got to hand out some novelty checks. So in third place, Roman Hager, come on up, buddy. High five. Oh, this is another big check. In second place, Dylan, come on up. And that means your winner of the first ever Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Skate Street Edition, Felipe Mota. There you go, sir. That was an epic street competition with some high-tech skills on the rails, but now we're going to send it over to the bowl for Skate Park. Hello, everyone. Jimmy Coleman here, sitting alongside Corbin Harris, and well, we are about to kick off the Skate Park edition here, and I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, you said before, these kids aren't allowed in the bigger contests with the older guys, but damn, they have the tricks.
They can hold their own.
Still do it.
I was like, okay, when I came into this yesterday watching the Academy, which was the mentoring session, I was like, okay. And then I saw someone put the runs together. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. These kids could hang in the pro ranks.
No, Jimmy, this is serious right now. These guys, the lines that I've seen during practice, this final is going to be something to watch out for.
Oh, they've got the height factor, and then some of these guys are throwing 540 variations. And just the lines, just the transfer lines going out of the corners and some of the pocket gaps here on the course. I mean, it was epic to watch yesterday. I'm excited to see how they put the runs together out here today.
Yeah, a lot of these kids also, you feel like they haven't got enough weight to be able to do some of the tricks. Not these kids. They are holding their speed. They are holding the height of the tricks every single time and every single wall. I can't wait to get into this.
That's just one of the crazier things is like they just don't have the muscle mass. They don't have that inertia, but to watch them pump through these corners and maintain the speeds to do some of the airs and transfer out of some of these gap corners, I mean, it was a sight to behold yesterday. Taking a look at our start list right here, 8 skaters in the mix out here today. It is a jam session. We've got Guy Curry, Taylor Nye, Rafael Ueda, Jackson Smith, Josiah Jones, Gidi Sanchez, Thomas Augusto, and Tommy Calvert.
What an amazing lineup of skateboarders. We are not far away from getting this thing underway right now.
So taking a look at some highlights from yesterday in the mentoring session, I mean, these kids skated nonstop. I mean, it was 5 hours yesterday.
Look at that. There is Lincoln Ueda's son, Rafi Ueda, who is going to be out there with a huge frontside air on that.
Just some of the big tricks that we saw going over the volcano yesterday and just using the vert corners. And then, like I said earlier, I mean, multiple 540 variations. You got a backflip over the volcano into a 5. Come on.
We're going to see that for sure. And, you know, this is why this program is so good, is because these kids can learn off one of the best in the world who's ever done it. Sitting there, you just can't buy time like that.
Yeah, I mean, they go and have sessions all the time. I mean, they have the tricks and whatnot, but to hear it from a seasoned veteran like Bucky, who's one of the most decorated vert skaters out there, to talk about, like, hey, what about this? Like, I saw him go and watch the lines and then pull them aside and be like, hey, have you thought about adding this? Or maybe throwing a switch trick over the hip, which that kind of advice coming from a guy like Bucky, when he tells you to do something switch, you should probably listen, because that guy's got a whole repertoire of switch tricks.
Yeah, he is one of the best to ever do it, switch for sure.
All right, so again, 8 riders in the lineup here. They get a 30-second opening intro run, if you will. After we've gone through all 8 of them there, it's a 20-minute jam session clock. So you're going to see some solid runs. However, it's about the overall impression. They don't want to see you have 1 or 2 good heaters. The judges want to see you skate and perform throughout that entire jam session. And we heard it in the athlete meeting yesterday. Brian was saying, hey, we want to see you use everything that course has to offer. Use the corners, use the gaps, use all the different features. We want to see the overall type of skater that you are.
Yeah, this has got a lot of different obstacles within this course, and if you try and hit everything, it's definitely going to make you shine within those judges.
All right, so Guy Curry is going to start us off here, 10 years old out of Curitiba, Brazil. It's right into the mix with a frontside boneless on what we call the layback bank wall over there. And there's one of those transfer lines I was talking about. How about that frontside alley gap transfer off the spine, Corbin?
And Jimmy, that's what you were talking about. It's about getting creative as he throws a 540 combination in there. Getting creative, consistency, keeping these lines up. This is a solid introductory run to start things off.
Look at the speed that he's got going here as he powers into that frontside Smith grind up on the pool coping with a Rodeo 5. Wow, and he squats that out across the flat.
That was right on the buzzer there.
Oh, did you see the wobbles that he got going up the vert wall right over the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games logo? Holy smokes, the buzzer sounded, and he got 3 more walls out of that. Guy Curry was waiting for this moment, and he just lit the fuse.
Let's talk about setting the standard high. Loving that ollie transfer.
Oh, there was a nose grab 5, and he one-footed that thing. That explains the squat going across the flat.
He was right on the buzzer, that frontside 5. We'll see if it's counted. But what a solid run to start things off.
I mean, listen, if you're trying to open things, it's tough to be the first guy in at a contest. Like, you're literally setting the bar. But, I mean, well, it was a heck of a way to get this thing started here for the park edition of the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. Taking a look at Taylor Nye from just up the road in Costa Mesa, California, with an Indy 3 over the volcano to start the party.
It's got to be tough to see a flawless run like that first one and come after it. But so far, with a little...
Well, that's one of those strategy things that Bucky was talking to these guys about yesterday. Like, yes, Guy had a great run to start this thing off, but going back to the format, it's an overall impression. So don't let that take the wind out of your sails. Get out there, do your thing. Don't abandon the game plan.
Love that extension transfer he did up to tail slide, locking in for a few of those pull blocks. He was after time throwing that 5 down, but this is what we're going to see in this 20-minute jam format. They're just warming up right now.
A little 450 nose grab over the hip right there at the end for Taylor Nye. Look at that. That's what started off Indy grab with the 360 and a very Chris Miller-esque alley-oop lean air. I love the style.
Frontside air. There's that stale fish through the corner.
Did you see how he poked that back leg out too on that stale fish? I love that.
It's he was kind of a little low down on that one, but he still held his speed.
All right, we've got Rafael Ueda out of Brazil. This is Lincoln Ueda's son, Lincoln Ueda of skatevert fame, and well, he definitely has the style. It definitely runs in the lineage.
Yeah, I was talking to Bucky Lasek earlier. He seems to think, and I do also, he is one of the best styles out there.
Look at how fast he's going. Oh my goodness, a massive frontside gap air.
He's trying to go through the roof on that one.
Did you see how fast he powered through that vert corner over there? I mean, for someone of that size, we were talking about not having the mass, the inertia. I mean, he's definitely figured out the speed lines there.
Unfortunately, just coming off that kickflip transfer over the spine, that frontside ollie that he's doing really looks like Jimmy Wilkins. It's a cross between Jimmy Wilkins and his father.
It's so stylish, but
couldn't think of anyone better to be emulating.
Look at how high he goes right here. I mean, you're going off that transition, you're landing on a bank wall. I mean, there's some real estate to transfer right there on that gap. But the setup going into it, how fast he went frontside through that corner over there, that was absolutely insane. So Jackson Smith, all the way from Hawaii, 13 years young. The 50-50 over the roller wall there next to the spine.
Holding it down with the proper shirt. The Reynolds family out there with their skate shop and skate park.
Little lean grabber there flowing into that bank wall there. Again, they get a 30-second intro run after we've run through all 8 athletes in the lineup. We then start the 20-minute jam session clock. That one's right there at the buzzer, so that fall shouldn't hurt him right there. You get 30 seconds. A fall will end the run. However, once you hear that horn, after that, anything, if you keep skating, those won't count in the judge's eyes for that run.
It's just a big confidence booster for yourself if you're still pushing through.
Well, I watched some of these guys yesterday. I mean, they were doing like minute-long runs. It's like, oh, to be young again.
That's what you can do when you're 11 to 15.
Yeah, I mean, they skated for 5 hours yesterday, and nobody let up.
You don't skate that much anymore, Jimmy?
You're lucky to get 30 minutes out of me. Josiah Jones from Waukegan, Illinois, out of the greater Chicagoland area. Look at that backside floater going into the vert pocket. Kid's got the style, the bright green socks. You can't see it under that helmet right there, but he's got the bright blue hair going as well.
You can definitely tell he hangs out with legend Kevin Staub, rocking his brand as well. They're 90 socks.
He's got the Kevin Staub starter kit going on right there. It's doing that lean tail slider. Oh, and a tuck knee invert.
How did he hold on to that?
I don't know how he didn't just Wilson out on the flat on that, but it was a tuck knee invert, by the way. I like it when the up-and-comers aren't afraid to plant the hand on the coping.
Well, he wasn't at all. He was going to take that in no matter what happened. He did not care.
Inverts are alive and well, and I love to see it. Just grabbing behind the foot there on the backside transfer. Look, kicking out there with the judo air.
Here it is. Let's watch it in slow-mo. His weight goes over. His weight was all in his front foot, and it nearly slid out like a snowball.
He's got his trailing hand was down, and he's looking back at the transition behind him, and how the back wheels didn't come all the way around and wash out is beyond me, but that was a great save right there. So Gidi Sanchez, check out the style from this young man from Fairfield, California.
Yeah, one of my favorite styles out there. He's got the back foot a little further, the front foot a little further back, actually. Just a lofty, cruisy style. Look at that little transfer board slide over the spine into a frontside boneless.
So that's a unique little line right there. One of those things we were talking about earlier with use, of course, when we were talking about our head judge, Brian Harper, saying, hey, use everything that the course has to offer. What just happened right there? I caught the tail end of that.
Wow. This is going to, I cannot wait for the 20-minute jam format. New school tricks, old school tricks.
Yeah, we haven't even started the time clock yet for the jam. Watch this.
And as you were saying, Jimmy, yeah, from that board slide transfer into the boneless, back-to-back tricks.
It was like a foot plant blunt slide, almost like a bean plant blunt slide there.
We'll take it. We like it.
I mean, you get to come out here, you get to skate this place, and then you get a guy like Bucky Lassick who's out here mentoring you through all this. Thomas Augusto from San Marcos, 15 years old. Tuck knee front side over the hip to get the party started.
Carrying a lot of speed straight into the 5 over the hip, grabbing that melon, so solid.
So going back into that same corner. And I love those vert. I mean, the sound that pull combing makes when you're grinding on it, so good.
Backside ollie over the hip, pumping through Smith grind. That is the buzzer in the background.
Oh, and he gets the lean varial in it as well. That was a great, great run for Thomas Augusto.
I think he just eyed off the judges too. Did you see that?
Was he mean mugging?
I don't know if that was to us or the judges. He might have been like, did you guys see that? That's what's happening right now.
I think he's calling all of us out. Right there, in your face. That was early on in the run with that 540 transfer. Take another look at it from another angle.
I like that. Getting also like a little sideways on that one.
Squeaking the lean varial in at the buzzer.
Speaking of Kevin Staub, that was him in the background.
Was that a Kevin Staub sighting we just saw right there?
He's obviously, an amazing legend vert skater.
Some of the best vert ollies in the business as we take a look at Tommy Calvert here from Venice, California, 90 years old. And watch the speed this gentleman maintains throughout the course with a massive alley-oop.
The youngest skater in the field and the last in this introductory run. Going for a little frontside boneless there, just coming off. It's all good.
That's a little tricky right there, too, because there's no... once you get up the transition, that extension part right there where it goes from concrete to wood, it lays back at a weird angle, so just a slight misstep right there. However, now that we've met everyone, we've seen an intro run, now we start the 20-minute jam session clock, and this is really where you're going to see these guys expand on their trick list and the different lines that they worked on yesterday.
Yeah,
that alley-oop was massive.
It was huge.
I mean, he traveled probably, I think...
Did you say 9 years old?
Yeah, I think that's a 20-foot gap, if I'm not mistaken. From last year, we were here from Nitro World Games.
It looks 120.
And he alley-ooped over 3/4 of the way through that thing.
Deep breath. A lot of pressure here.
I think the pressure's off now. Like, once you get the intro run out of the way and it's a jam session.
Well, I was talking to a couple of them before. This guy right here who's about to drop in, and Rafa Ueda. It is... They're still feeling a little pressure out there. But it's not showing in his skating right now.
Wow.
Look at these back-to-back tricks.
How about that combo line? You got 3 bangers in a row right there.
And that's what it's about, into the backflip.
Oh,
Plugging a little bit on that one, I think.
I don't think I saw him fall on one of those yesterday. So, shake that one off. Again, it's overall impression, so it's okay.
You know what the problem was there? He had those first four, 5 tricks that he landed and kind of was on a roll, and I think he just had a little too much speed coming into that one. As we go into our next rider,
kickflip into the 5.
I love that.
Oh my goodness, putting together some lines right here. Taylor Nye, watch the speed right here coming back into that extension.
Yeah, I like that transfer.
And there's that uniqueness right there with that spine. Kind of ollies off that wall because you have to offset that coping right there going into the hip.
Well, up tail slide around the pool coping there, straight into a frontside Smith grind.
Oh, and a massive frontside air to disaster. That one was after the buzzer. These last 2 walls were after the buzzer. You see if they keep buzzing the horn like, hey, your run's over.
Get out of here. We're going to get everyone else in.
That's what's great about it, though, with that youth, that energy, that excitement. It's like you're having a good run. You just don't want to stop. Like I said, I saw these guys doing like some 60-second runs yesterday.
Lofty frontside ollie there by Raphael.
Look at that.
Oh, I love that.
That
lean
steezed
air.
out lean air.
Boning it.
Just extending that front leg.
Still got some time.
Just effortless when he floats that indie grab. And then right there, I mean, that's right. So it was a good 28, 29 seconds of skating there.
Yeah, he lost a little bit of footing over there on the ski jump, which kind of stuffed him up a little bit for the lead to tail.
Wow, that was a little crazy there for Jackson Smith. He kind of overcorked it a little bit on that alley-oop. His hips were a little bit out of whack on the landing, so that was a good save there.
I'm not sure if he was trying to go for a nose blunt on top of that and then just thought, let's just keep it cool and do a frontside disaster.
We'll have to wait and see how this line develops as we get deeper into the jam session. But yeah, that's that. I mean, if he was trying to go nose blunt on that, and just, I mean, that's a good save right there to just work that into a frontside disaster. Josiah.
Kevin Starr, Prodigy, huge frontside air onto the flat bang. Lean air there.
A little bit of a miss pump there, but manages to salvage that with the indie grab floating over the hip there.
Jimmy, I was just going to talk about the pumping. They are using every bit of energy in their legs to make sure they keep it up. And they have to, because they don't have the weight to be able to carry through.
But it's, you know what? They use those bowl corners to their advantage. They slingshot themselves through this course, for lack of a better term right there. I mean, we saw it out of Rafael Ueda. I mean, he was coming high speed. It was like watching a NASCAR race on a skateboard through that corner. It was insane. He had so much speed coming out of there.
That backside selfish into a 50-50 to fakie.
Over that roller portion right there. That was a nifty little, I didn't see that out of him yesterday. Follows that up with a frontside Smith there.
So much style.
Oh, he tried to go with the double kick out there. Tried to go to the Frigidaire into the judo at the end of that. So a twofer on the backside air combo there for Gidi Sanchez.
Smooth 5-0 into the quarter pipe.
With saran wrap. I love that trick.
He nearly couldn't get it around with his foot because he got stuck.
He saved the kickflip, Corbin.
This is a run. He does not want to fall off in this whatsoever.
That's kind of the beauty of the saran wrap, though. Like when you time it right and you get that foot back on right as you put your wheels down under the coping, and I mean, he got perfect execution on that one. I mean, what a run. And again, the buzzer sounded, and he's still going.
They're trying to get him out of here so the next person can go.
He heard 30 seconds and thought it meant 3 minutes. He could have kept on going. Man, that was a great run right there for Thomas.
Bucky Lasek, the head judge up there and mentor, is like, lay out. It's someone else's, please.
Save it for the next run. You got a long way to go. It's a 20-minute jam session, guys. Tommy Calvert out of Venice, California, at 9 years old. There's the frontside boneless. That one got him on his intro run. Makes it happen here in the jam session. And how, I mean, with how small he is, to get the speed to 360 that volcano. There you go.
He's going to claim that. It's like...
He was looking for redemption after that intro run. Wow, so here we go into the third round here. Again, this is a jam session here for the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Skateboard Park Edition.
That back foot just coming off on the backside ollie. I don't even know how he kept on going after that. There's the back flip. He lands it this time. He's still going to go into the 540, grabbing it mute.
He kind of lost some speed there, so he changed up the line this go around, but there you go. Comes out of that, regroups with a Madonna.
Backside three. Completely all the way around on that as well.
How do you do that on such a small transition? I mean, I guess when you're his height. But wow, what a run right there for Guy Curry.
Yeah, this is he's pumped up on that. They're juiced.
The backflip over the volcano and then to follow it up with a 5. Lose the speed, then change up the line that we saw the last go around.
Smooth 5-0 all the way across. Frontside alley-oop.
See the authority that he put that down with, just putting that one in.
Oh, backside tail slide, sliding all the way into the transition.
Into the layback bank wall there on the alley frontside. That was impressive there.
What's he got? Oh!
The gap transfer to tail slide over the spine.
Haven't seen that yet, and I like it. And another backside tail slide around the big corner.
It's a unique use of course thing. That spine's not your typical spine. It's got some transition, but it's a little different on the other side. But you've also got, you know, that hip corner. I mean, you've got some elements that you have to contend with, and that was a great way to use that part of the course.
All right, Rafi is back in, frontside carving all the way around, a lot of speed.
And just check out the style on the Indy air.
This one I like. That's the frontside ollie that reminds me of Jimmy Wilkins. Really lofty.
Oh, Coping got a little sticky on the frontside 5.
Yeah,
frontside 5-0
on that one. Pointing at that, Smith grind out. You know, frontside lip side.
Man, through the corner. How about that for a buzzer beater? Rafael Ueda with a frontside lip slide.
And that, he was trying to roll out of that one. I think he shocked himself up there.
Hey, that falls after the buzzer, by the way. After the frontside lip over there in the corner, he was done. That buzzer sounded, so don't worry about that fall, Rafael. Jackson Smith dropping in front of our broadcast table over here. Let's see what he's got on tap. Working his way towards the volcano there with the kick flip. Did he get the grab? I couldn't tell. I'll have to look it on the replay.
Ollie up there. Little transfer over to Decker. Back over again. Unique line that we haven't seen so far.
It's a big coping on top of that spine right there. So Jackson Smith putting together a solid 30 seconds as we welcome back in Josiah Jones.
Wasting no time whatsoever.
Look at that floating frontside ollie and then follows it up with a backside air transfer coming off of that.
Yeah, it was
4 foot, 5 foot hip there into the spine.
Perfectly landing.
Oh, he's got a saran wrap too.
How do they know about these tricks, Jimmy?
They're going back and they're watching some old Skate Visions videos, I guess. I don't know.
You should get more points just for that as well. Frontside lip, landing on that one, right on the buzzer.
Oh, That one's after time, so that fall's not going to hurt him either. But the style on the saran wrap, I mean, it was perfect. Gidi Sanchez.
Another one with a lot of style.
Steezing out the Frigidaire, going over the volcano, sticking that leg out.
Like the ollie to fakie. What's his line going to be?
Well,
Here, switch backside air.
That was one of the things I was talking about. Bucky told him to do that yesterday. Bucky was like, hey, you know what? After you do that fakie drifter coming over the hip, try going switch over the hip over here. And it took him about 4 or 5 tries, and then he just stuck with it. Now we're seeing him put that into the line today.
That is what mentoring's about. Being able to lift the game, being able to see what they're doing wrong, or maybe even just give them a couple of ideas outside the box.
Oh, the look on his face when he finally made it on the 5th try was priceless, too. He just kind of looked at Bucky like, yeah, well, I got this.
Every one of these kids out of there have the skill to be able to, like for Bucky to be able to turn around and go, hey, you know, for whoever it is, try this, and they can get it within 5 to 10 goes.
So we've seen some 540 variations here, but that was a proper McTwist right there, attempt out of Thomas Augusto. Tommy Calvert's back in here.
Completely upside down on that one.
And he carved too, like he gets right over that Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games logo. I mean, that was a good looking McTwist.
Transfer up to 50-50 on that one. Boardside bringing it in.
How did he power through that?
Frontside Smith, I have no idea.
I didn't know that he had enough speed to get the front truck over the coping. But he powers through and makes that one happen.
Little blunt to fakie, holding it down right at the end there.
Tried to caballerial over the hip right there.
Look at that energy. That's what happens when you're 9 years old. You can run back up the ramp.
He's like, can I go again? Can I go again?
He's already probably skated 3 skate parks this morning.
Look at the height right there for Guy Curry to start off this run. Wow, I thought he was just going to slingshot through, but he ends up getting a backside 5-0 grind out of that. We get a Jesse Fritz sighting in the mix. We got some vert legends in the house out here today.
Smith grind all around that corner, taking up about 5 blocks
there. What? Are you kidding me?
That was a Bob Burnquist. I am holding on to this for dear life.
I mean, that was like a combo of Bob Burnquist and Sandro Diaz just kind of squatting down, knee on the grip tape, stay on the board, and he grabbed. It was amazing. Now that is how you do a body jar. You got to slam that board down with some authority.
Smooth 5-0 there.
Taylor Nye.
Yeah, really linking up different obstacles here, and that's what the judges are going to love. Little blunt to fakie. Fakie 5-0. This is a different one. We haven't seen him do this line so far, and the judges are really going to like that.
Well, you could see that confidence start to go, oh, he tried the flip stalefish going over the volcano hip there. I didn't see that in practice yesterday either out of Taylor. But that's the thing, is you're watching these runs develop and change as we go through this jam session, as they're shaking off the cobwebs a little bit, building that confidence. It's a little daunting when you get out here and the cameras are rolling.
Look at the size of this.
Oh, my goodness.
It doesn't get much bigger than that. And, yeah, I know where he gets that from. His dad, because his dad does some of the biggest airs I've ever seen skating vert.
Just love that style on the lean to tail. And again, just...
He's just holding on to that frontside flip. Raphael.
I thought that one was going to get away from him, but he still managed to get his feet on the grip tape on that one and tried to ride that one out. Oh my goodness. Jackson Smith back on course here. Front side grind there on the pool coping in the deep corner.
6 minutes on the clock. Very close to it.
It's hard to believe that we've already gone through 14 plus minutes of this right now. I mean, I could watch this all day long. These guys are having so much fun and they're putting together some great lines.
And they are making it look so easy. Backside 3 over the hip, just coming off that one. A lot of weight on that front foot as he came around. Dropping him the goofy footer over the hip.
Josiah Jones.
Got with a lot of speed there. Backside 3, landing perfectly straight into the McTwist.
How do you squat out of a 540 like that and maintain your speed? comes the Madonna, taking that foot off, lean to tail. Josiah's got quite a trick arsenal right here. He brings something new to every run.
One kickflip in attempt.
Tried to bust out a Jagger Eaton move right there with the old blunt kickflip out.
Yeah, kind of not being able to get the flick right on that, unfortunately.
JD over the volcano with a judo air to get this run started.
There it is. Switch backside air thanks to his mentor, Bucky Lasek, who spent the whole day with them here yesterday at the facility. And it's working already.
Oh, he was meticulous about it too. I mean, he sat here and watched every bit of practice, him and Alfonso as well. And it was awesome to just see them eyeing up the runs. And then when they'd get out of the bowl, they'd come over and talk to me like, hey, you know what? Have you thought about adding this to your run? What about this?
I like it. Definitely helping them.
Just powerhousing that 360 over the volcano there.
I really like the melon grab over that too, with the backside 3. Oh, little manual.
High speed manual.
Nearly getting a little stuck on it, actually.
He's got
kickflip Indy.
He's got the super snap on the body jars right there, making sure that everybody inside the CATF hears that tail hit the lip right there. Thomas Augusto making some magic happen here as we're getting down to the final minutes of our jam session here at the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games Skate Park Edition. Tommy Calvert, frontside air with a backside transfer coming over that hip. 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes to go.
The little guy with the big moves.
I mean, to get out here and hold your own like this at 9 years old.
Hold your own. He's doing more than that. He is pushing through.
He didn't have enough speed. He was early grabbing that, going up the transition, and still got that one around.
Those little legs just pumping through.
He was like, I'm not getting off of this. I want this back 3 to fakie right here. So we go back up to the top of the order. So these will be the last runs. We'll go through everybody one more time. So this will take us out of competition. Back to the top of the order with Guy Curry. And Guy has had he's had an epic session there with a backside pocket ollie into the corner.
Backflip on that, holding it, spinning the 5 as well, grabbing it mute. That was his cleanest one so far. He seems like he's still got a lot of speed and a little out of control.
And he came off the coping and gets back onto the 50-50.
He's like, I am taking the whole 30 seconds of this, whether you like it or not.
He was like, there's no way you're getting me off of this board before that horn sounds. And just fought every bit of that to get those trucks back on the coping. Like, no, you don't.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh.
Figure at that point, 50-50 or not, he was at least going to try to backside rolling over there on that wall to keep the flow going here as we take one last look at Taylor Nye here.
I love that backside tail slide. Over that kick flip, grabbing it stalefish over the hip. Kind of not just being able to flick it as much as he'd like on that.
It looked like the board got a little bit out ahead of him right there, and he wasn't able to grab that one. And you don't have a lot of hang time to try to throw that back under your feet as Rafael Ueda is blasting into that corner over there with a massive backside air. And how about that transfer into the spine?
Wow, if this is the time that he's going to throw the frontside flip down, it is now. He has to do it. Look at that textbook Smith grind. It seems like this run so far, he's just got to it and feels super comfortable. He was really, really nervous before. Oh,
that was even crazier than the last attempt on that because he was so far away from the board.
It looked like Jimmy, his front foot got tied up with his trucks. And he kind of like...
It's like his feet floated away from the board and then he still stood on it. So 3 down, 5 left to go here in the run order. Again, this is the last round of runs. So this is the last time these skaters get out here and try to impress the judges.
I can't believe the level of talent that is here today.
I mean, it was amazing to watch yesterday in practice, and all 8 of these guys have stepped it up to another level here today. Jackson Smith with some backside carves here on his final attempt here at the CATF for the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games.
He landed a little low on that melon over the ski jump, but he's still on right now.
Little frontside air, trying to smack that one to tail, coming over the hip.
Is he heading for gathering some speed?
Gap out over that layback bank wall, trying to
backside ollie, late
shove
onto the flat bank. Unfortunately, not getting it there. That'll be his day.
Can't imagine the adrenaline surge that they probably have, like coming in here, and you were talking about earlier about someone being nervous, and like all of a sudden it's like it's a full-blown production. It's like now there's a starter out there on course, and it's like, you know, how many contests have these guys had to deal with a starter before, and like TV cameras rolling in the whole 9 yards?
It doesn't seem to be bothering them whatsoever.
Well, it was crazy. I mean, they all got interviews, they got some camera time yesterday, and you know, just they were all having such a good time, and there were some really great interviews with all of the athletes.
Blunt kickflip in, he gets it this time. Talk about the money move right on the buzzer.
Josiah Jones making the magic happen when it counted at the very end. He gets the blunt to kickflip out as we are down to our final 2 skaters here in the skate park edition of the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. Thomas Augusto starts it off with a nice looking slob here coming over the hip.
Slob, one of my favorite tricks when they're done well. Look at a lot of speed into that deep end.
Oh, and he makes it this time around.
Unbelievable.
The McTwist. And he carved that one. He probably traveled about 6-7 feet across on that one. That's a hard one to carve.
I'd love to know what was going on inside his head. He was like, I am going to make this no matter what.
Well, you can see he kind of had his arms out at the side, and like as he was going through the last part of the transition in the flat, like, I made it.
And he made it. What a great run to finish things off.
I mean, he literally goes through that pocket and he's going over the Nitro Junior Games logo. I mean, that is impressive as all get out. As we take a look at Tommy Calvert, the last guy to close us out here in this competition with a frontside boneless on the layback bank wall.
And not forget the youngest, and he's flying through this run so far. Oh, what? Someone said he looked like Steve Caballero before, and that is one of Cab's signature tricks.
Check out the stance that he's got right there. Plants the hand over on the vert wall, and there is the buzzer, and that is going to do it here for the skate park edition of Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. The judges are up there doing their thing and looking over their notes and figuring out our podium here. Let's take a look at some highlights here. Let's recap this awesome event, this 20-minute jam session where all 8 of these guys threw down.
I'd like to see you try. Better in the UFL. It's gonna take a lot more than you got to see it all derail. If the best revenge is living well, we're living it up. You're in a living hell. Just watch your back while you plan your attack. I'd like to see you try.
So that was an epic 20-minute jam session right there. Great job by all of our skaters, but now it's time to hand out some checks and announce our podium here at the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. So that being said, taking home 3rd place and $500, it's Thomas Augusto. Thomas, come on up. Nice job on the McTwist at the very end. Here you go, sir. 3rd place right here. Skate Park. It's 2nd place. This one was a bit of a tough battle, but taking home 2nd place, it's Taylor Nye. Taylor, come on up.
you are now the recipient of this novelty check and $750. And that means you're winner of the first ever skate park edition of Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. Gidi Curry, come on up! You get $1,000 and you and a friend are going to get to go to a Nitro World Games event in 2020. So there you go, your podium. It's Thomas Augusto, Taylor Nye, and Gidi Curry. You're 3-2-1 out here at the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games at the CATF.
Thank you guys for watching the Hot Wheels Nitro Junior Games. For more action, click here. Maybe here. Definitely there. Or over there.